So, what if I told you that your antioxidant rich breakfast that you just ate is actually fighting a biochemical war in your stomach right now? I mean, it's an incredibly frustrating thought, but it's true because you sit down, you eat a vibrant fruit salad, or maybe a hearty high protein dish with all the right macros. It has low carbohydrates, low fat, and high protein, or high fat, low carb, whatever you're going with. Or, God forbid, or you drink a smoothie with milk and maybe five different types of fruits in it. And you said, oh my God, that was so nutritionally dense. And you really, really feel great about those choices. But the quote unquote healthy ingredients you just eat may cause some collateral damage inside the digestive tract later on, especially if you're older or you're a perimenopausal woman, menopause, postmenopausal woman, somebody's in their 40s, 50s, somebody who's recovering from flu, somebody who's recovering from some problem. Yeah. So what happens? An hour later, you may feel sluggish or you may feel uncomfortably full and gassy and I'll be constipated the next day. And you sit there thinking, hey, you know what? I did everything right. Quick disclaimer, Ayurveda is not recognized by the FDA or by any other organization in the USA. It is not considered a medicine, it's just a recreational information complementary medicine. And this is not a medical podcast. And all the information provided here is from an ancient Vedic perspective from scriptures written thousands of years ago. Hi there. My name is Monica Groover. I'm the director of Narayana Institute of Vedic Arts. And today I am going to be talking about food and meals and so-called highly nutritious foods become problematic. Our mission today is to figure out why certain perfectly good, healthy, nutritious foods become problematic. I mean, you can be eating organic foods, you can be eating grass-fed meat, you can be eating very, very good quality ingredients you're buying from Whole Foods, but you're still constipated and you still feel stomachache and you may still have diarrhea or you may be gassy. If you're eating so healthy, then why are these things happening? Because in Ayurveda, you're not just what you eat, you're what you digest. So let's take this beautiful ancient wisdom of Ayurveda and run it through the filter of modern gastrointestinal science. The truth of the matter is, it happens almost every day to most of us simply because we've been conditioned to look at food through a narrow lens, right? We treat our meals like a simple math equation, calories in and calories out. So we just try to hit a target number of proteins and carbs, and people are either on a high protein diet or a high fat diet, and carbs are like the bad guys. Carbs like a four-letter word, and I mean, how many times do I hear in my Ayurvedic consultation, I don't do carbs. I don't do carbs, like carbs are really bad. Anyway, the thing is, labeling an ingredient as universally good or universally bad, not okay. Don't label your ingredients. I mean, it's just completely isolated from everything else on the plate. That isolated view is exactly what we are going to be dismantling today. So, for this deep dive, we are looking at a topic called incompatible foods or Viruddha Ahara concept in Ayurveda. So, let's shift the focus away from what you ate and zooming way in on the invisible chemical and energetic reactions that happen when we eat things right. I mean, think about it. Would you mix oranges with milk? No, you already know oranges and milk don't go together because you know if you mix orange with milk, there's a problem, right? Or you may not mix cayenne pepper with ice cream, right? That doesn't go together. You naturally know how that works. Let's kind of zoom back a little. So let's look at the food like, oh, there's a chemical reaction taking place in our GI tract. It's taking place in our gut. So do you drink tea? I'm Indian. I drink chai. And most of my life, I drank chai with milk, black tea milk. But unfortunately, they don't go together. tea and cow's milk do not go together. So what happens if you take green tea or black tea and put milk, milk that comes from animal, cow's milk, not almond milk, not oat milk. Those are not really milk. Milk is something that comes from a mammal. So cow's milk, yeah, you put it in black tea or green tea. There's a biochemical clash in our body. The casein is a protein that's found in milk. It interacts with this flavonoids with tea. It reduces the concentration of something good called catechins, important for the health of our heart, especially one which is called EGCG. These are antioxidants. That means they combat oxidative stress, they help reduce inflammation, they lower the risk of chronic diseases. Even they are set to support cancer prevention, brain and cognitive health, and oral health. Now, what happens? Milk has this protein called casein. Casein binds with catechins and stops the absorption, meaning it stops the body from absorbing it, so makes it less bioavailable. So in that sense, okay, you're drinking black tea or green tea has more of these antioxidants, which is why green tea is so popular and supposed to be more healthy for you, despite having caffeine. But if you mix it with milk, not a good idea. But yeah, black tea, the entire subcontinent of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we're like chai drinkers. We're like black tea drinkers with milk. Don't put milk, put soy milk, put almond milk, put oat milk. No, or don't drink tea. Well, full disclosure. About 10 years ago, I stopped drinking milk in tea when I learned about this. So now I either put oat milk or almond milk or coconut milk or soy milk, whatever alternative milks I put in the tea. So I even put it in green tea because, yeah, me being Indian. But the point is, when you're mixing two combination milk with black tea or green tea, this is what is happening. Another example that we can give is a combination of tea with garlic. I don't even know who would have garlic with tea, but what it means is, let's say you're taking garlic bread and you're drinking black tea with it. So I've given you an example of the tea and milk. And also with milk, you cannot mix fruits. Fruits are mostly acidic. Milk is not. And what happens when you put acidic things in milk? Milk, you know how we make cheese, how we make paneer in India? You take some lemon or you vinegar and you put it in the milk and milk starts curdling. And then the curdled part of the milk is becomes fresh cheese or farmer's cheese, which becomes paneer. And then that's fermented to become cheese. And the rest is called the whey. So if you're putting acidic food, like if you're having a smoothie with milk and some fruit, and the fruit is acidic, right? I mean, what is it doing? It's curdling in your stomach. Ugh, not so good. I know it's a cringe-worthy image, but bear with me. So milk and fruits should not be mixed. If you are going to have a smoothie, make it with almond milk. Ideally, don't do smoothies. You want to chew your food. Chewing food is more important unless you're not feeling well or your digestion's not okay. Then go ahead, have a small amount of smoothie. That too, never made with milk. No milk and fruit. Almond milk, okay. Oat milk, okay. Alternative nut milk's okay. Regular milk, no, 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 no. Milk out it by itself. Do not mix it with anything else. You'll ask me, hey, what about you Indians have that mango lassi? Yep, not good for you. Mango lassi is milk with mango. No, not so good. According to ancient Ayurvedic texts, there is a rule of eating certain foods. Like in certain cultures or religions, they will not mix certain foods together, right? For example, they will not have animal-based foods and milk. So actually, that's in Ayurveda, we call them, the word is viruddha, meaning opposite. How? In Ayurveda, opposite refers to foods that have conflicting fundamental qualities. Okay, so what is their taste? What is their potency, whether they're heating or cooling? And then you can mix it with something that is similar, but not mix it with something that is the potency is different. Yeah, let's kind of break it down. Let's unpack this idea of affinity of food and opposite energies because it can be a little abstract. But the idea is there is a clash, and it's a physical one, and it's written in these old books, like Think of it like you have two incredibly talented solo musicians into a duet, and they don't just vibe, they are on different rhythms. So when you combine food with no affinity or in the wrong proportions, they exert undesirable, sometimes actively harmful effects on the body because they need different things from the gut. So one ingredient might require a highly acidic environment to break down, while the other requires a highly alkaline environment. And you've just mixed everything together. Let me give you an example. If you're having tomato soup and you're drinking wine with it, the tomato and wine don't go together. Alcohol is very astringent. Think of red wine, how when you put it in your mouth and go, it, kind of dries the moisture in your mouth. And then you have the tomato soup, which is nice and rich and beautiful and it's acidic. So tomatoes and alcohol don't go together. So Ayurveda suggests body can't process a highly acidic and a highly alkaline food at the same time. If it's medium, like slightly alkaline, slightly acidic, okay, but not if they're very highly acidic. So that is one of the rules because they're all going to go into the stomach and the hydrochloric acid, all the digestive enzymes are going to start breaking them down. So we don't want to crash our system. So let's kind of talk about a little bit the literal mechanics of the gut from Ayurvedic perspective. So let's look at a classic combination. Some foods need a slightly acidic environment in your mouth to work properly. And when you introduce acidic fruits, you change the pH of your mouth. And that acid in the fruit neutralizes certain digestive enzymes. Not all fruits do that. Any Ayurveda suggests. So if you're not feeling well, try to cook your fruits. Applesauce is not going to cause problem. Do not make them into a smoothie. That's an Ayurvedic thing. Ideally, you want to go to an Ayurvedic practitioner so they can help you with it. So the breakdown process of the carbohydrates kind of start in our mouth. Mouth has saliva. Saliva is salivary amylase. In Ayurveda, we call it bodha kapha. So the starches and the carbs start getting broken down into sugars right here in the mouth, right? So it's like and then there's certain things that are breaking down in the stomach. Why? Because stomach is not designed to digest starch. It is designed to break down proteins. It's a more acidic environment. Hydrochloric acid and all these digestive enzymes that introduce this. What is digestion? You have the mechanical digestion. You put your food in your mouth and you chew, 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 chew. It is so important to chew. Chewing is so important. That's why we say try to avoid smoothies. So when we chew, well, the word is mastication. That is the first part of digestion. So you're breaking the food into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller particles. And so we can swallow it. And the swallowing is done by prana. And then the saliva is produced, right? So when you chew your food, it leads to better digestion, better nutrient absorption. But if you're taking the same food, which is already broken down into smoothie, and you're like going down, then the bioavailability, the nutrient absorption is not that good, right? And this thing is, especially if you have a sensitive digestion and we are taking large food particles, then the body has to work really, really hard in breaking them down. So there might be gas and bloating and so on. So when we start chewing, that triggers saliva. And saliva has digestive enzymes that starts breaking down the food. So, they actually suggest you should chew your food 20, 30 times. Full disclosure, I tried doing that. It's too much. It just loses all the taste. Well, I aim for like 10 to 15 times. Also, I've been trying to lose weight and I've had to be really conscious of chewing. And I notice I eat fast. So I've been asking all of the people who are on a weight loss journey, do you eat fast? And every single one of them said, yeah, we eat really fast. So if we want to lose weight, apparently we have to chew slower. Chewing is really good for the jawbone. It is good, if you're bleeding gums. So it is good for increased blood flow and so on. So yeah, that's my case for chewing and not smoothie. Having said that, somebody's not feeling well and their digestion sluggish, it's okay to have food that has already been broken down, but in a soup form. Soup, not smoothie. soup. And if you're going to have a smoothie, have a small amount. For example, if you have like almond milk or coconut milk with dates, that's okay. Or maybe one more thing, but not like 10 fruits, something like that, and especially acidic fruits. No, 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 no. Now, if you have like some dried fruits like raisins or dates or dried figs in a smoothie, that is acceptable because that is not acidic, right? For example, if you have a plate and it is 10 things, and you're eating a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little of this. Let's say you're going to have salad. So have the salad first, which is raw food, and raw food is processed differently than cooked food. So have your salad or fruit, whatever, by itself. Don't mix it with cooked food. Now you've been eating it, right? Now wait a few minutes. Now start on a cooked food, right? Now, ideally, the sugars are broken down before proteins. So if you're going to have a dessert, I know you're not going to like me for this one, but eat your dessert first and then have your meal. So you're going to ask me, what about that Indian thali you guys do? Yeah, but we make a very balanced thali. We have each of the six tastes. So if you're not, and that is not the topic for today. I'll probably make a new podcast for that. Anyway, we're not going to mix cooked food and salad together. If it's in one meal, finish your salad first, or finish your meal first and then eat salad, or finish your first. I mean, ideally, you want to start with the sweets. You see sometimes children, they will eat the sweet first because, yeah, well, they're kind of a little greedy. So am I. But ideally, mixing. So one thing at a time. And then you finish a meal with a buttermilk, but not immediately. You have to wait 10 or 15 minutes before taking your buttermilk or lassi or whatever, but without the fruit. Why? Because buttermilk is probiotic. And when the protein is getting digested in our stomach and it's very high acidic, the poor bacteria in the lassi or the yogurt are going to die in that acidic environment. So you have to wait a little bit before you can have buttermilk. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tiny podcast. And if you like it, let me know and I'll record more.